Sup y'all, it's Fall Night and I hope you had a fantastic day today because today I want to talk about the new format that Konami just released, which is called the Genesys format. This format seems really huge, really fun, and I'm really hyped for it, but before starting to talk about it, for who this format really is for, because I have to tell you something guys first, there's no link in Padulum in this format. Yeah, they're forbidden, you cannot use them in this format. This is really like a competitive 1v1 format, but it's like using all the card pool in the game available without ban lists, but there's no links in Padulum available, so that can be quite confusing. So at first, before even talking about what is the format, I want to talk about for who this format is for, because I think that's the most important thing. Because of course, if you are a really fan of link summons and paddling summons, etc., maybe this format will not be for you. But if like me, you're enjoy of the old style of invocation like synchros, XYZ, fusion, ritual, etc., and you also like the fact to be able to use any cards from anywhere from like the past to today, but with a point system that help you make it more balanced and there is no ban list. So like I said, you can play like Pot of Greed, for example, if you want to play it. Maybe this format is more for you. So what this format is for? First, it's for duelists who are looking for a less complicated game. For sure though, the deck building part of this format will be more complicated because you have to like remember all the cards, but maybe not all the cards. I mean, you can just search the list for it, but there's some cards that have a point value and some that doesn't, and the cap like in general by default is 100, so maybe this part can be confusing during the deck building process for this, for casual players and the casual duelists. But as for the play parts, playing the games, that will be way more easy. Why? Like I said, links and paddle summons are monster series are not part of this format. They're prohibited. That means there's no extra monster zones, and also there's no paddling zones. So there's like less invocation style of summoning that players have to learn, which is quite good for casual players. Like I said, it's more like, you know, less complicated for them for that. And also they don't have to like to learn how to links work, how they change the field with the columns and stuff. Bref, this is really a good thing for casual player for that. Duelists who are new to the game, like I said, some of us even like maybe have some old cards in their like in the closet from like back in the day that are either banned or not, so you have to check the ban list. You have to make sure that you know you can play the deck you're actually playing, and maybe sometimes you just want like maybe a game that go slower. This format is for that, because like I said, with modern advanced 1v1, the format is really fast. It's like playing a fighting game, but in a CG, which is really hard for new players to do. Like you have to learn all the combos, you have to learn based on your deck you're playing, you have to learn the combos of the other decks so you can negate them at the right time with the end traps. That can be really bizarre for new players to comprehend. Like they have to learn every deck, even the one that they're not playing, just to understand the meta. And advanced is really not the format I would suggest to new players. For sure though, in the past, for new players, we'll suggest either playing gold format, so the format of 2005, or Edison format. And while I also enjoy playing this format, I play a lot of Edison and I love it, it can be quite confusing for new players to learn, you know, the old rules of Edison that are not in the modern game. For example, the fact you can draw during your first turn, and even if you start first, the triggering effect, you know, the priority stuff ruling in Edison, and also the errata. Like you have to learn, you have to use the cards before the errata from 2010. It was so complicated for new players, right? You have to reinvest your time to learn it. It can be quite confusing for new players that just want to play in real life, not in a simulator, you know, with their friends. So this format, using modern card pool, modern rulings, but with every card in the world, can be really fun for new players. It will be way less complicated. You don't have to learn rules from the past, to having to check forums for before 2010 to understand cards for old rulings. Instead, you just use the modern rule set, use the modern card pool, even card from the past, but with their errata effects, and you will be okay. You will be cool with that. Next, duelists who have always had a favorite deck and want their favorite deck to be a little more competitive. That's my case. Like you can see in my last video of Yugioh, like I play a lot of Yugioh domain. My favorite archetype of all time is Yugioh. I really love Yugioh, and I even try to make it at least viable, or at least playable in Master Duel, and it's really impossible between all the, you know, like I said, the meta, even in front of Malice, even in front of Snake Eye, even if they're banned, even, you know, it's impossible for me to be able to have a chance. But in the system, with a point system, this, you know, format works with, it gives more chance of like more obscure archetype to have a chance to not maybe win all tournaments, but at least be able to be, you know, to have more chance to win a game, right? That's more the case of it. And, you know, slow decks now have a chance in this format to, you know, shine at least. And it's not as fast, like I said, as the modern format, which is advanced. So that can be really, really good for those who love old archetypes and want to make them, you know, want to make them viable and, you know, have fun with that. Anybody looking for a new experience to change of pace? That's my case also. I'm always fun for a new experience to change of pace. You know, like before I was really a hater of 1v1. You know, I used to do advanced competitive back in like few years ago, but I really hate it. You know, the fast, you know, like the feel. I didn't feel like there's no interaction in the past. I mean, with Mystic Man and all that kind of stuff. Now the change of the pace, looking more like Edison. I will say, like for base of what because I did some deck building for this format and I tried to do some end testing, and it seems like the speed of the game is the same, maybe a little more than Edison, which is a good pacing for anybody. So yeah, for sure, if you just want a pace of a game that is still fast but not as fast as today, this format is for you. And for a new experience, of course, it's the first time I can think ever you have an official format for Yu-Gi-Oh, which use no ban list but a system of points that can be really fun for you, even more if you like a deck builder enjoyer. And speaking of that, duelists who love a deck building challenge, this is the case. This is really fun for deck builders like me. I love doing deck builders and, you know, try to resolve the puzzle of a deck to make it viable. This format is really good for that. Since you have access to every card in the game, there's no ban list. Like I said, there's the point system you have to work with. We'll talk with that about that later on. This is really good for you, man. If you really love deck building, this format is really cool for that. It will make you think about, all right, since now I have a system of points, I cannot just use all the end traps in the game. I cannot just all the boss monster in the games. I have to work around and even use some obscure card that you not used to play anymore, like some end traps that cost 0, but, you know, they're less effective. But in the sense that you still need end trap, they can be effective. This is really good. Like, I really love deck building. Like I said, I made 2 decks completely opposite style for this video, for just, you know, just in general, to try to test what deck building feel in Genesys format, and this is really fun for me. So let's go back to what is Genesys format, because for that, if you're not part of the, you know, the type of people I mentioned, for example, if you're really a hardcore tryhard, competitive, you know, you love Lynx monster, you like, maybe you're a fan of Cyber's monster with like combo Lynx deck or combo Pendulum decks with Endymion and stuff like that, this format is clearly not for you. But for sure, if you, for example, if you want to use all your end traps, all your engine you have in Modern Advance, maybe this format is not for you. But again, if you want a side format, or if, you know, for example, you want to try to play something else, this format can still be for you. I think everybody can enjoy this format. So how did this work? Like I said, there's no link in Pendulum monsters. But the second thing is that we also use the old game field layout. Like I said, there's no extra monster zone and no pendulum zones anymore. All other cards are allowed. There is no forbidden and limited list. Like I said, there is no ban list. But here's the catch. There is a point system. Some powerful cards will have a point cost when building a deck. Some of them are worth 100, some of them are worth 1, but majority of the cards cost 0. And how does it work? Basically, per default, the standard point cap of a deck is 100 points. For example, let's take Pot of Greed. Pot of Greed costs 33 points to be able to put in the game for each copy. It's not like you can play 3 copies of Pot of Greed and, you know, it just costs 33. No, it's the cost for each copy of that card. So, for example, if you want to play 3 copies of Pot of Greed, it will cost you 90 points. So that means you still have 10 points available to use for any other cards and the point card list. But yeah, so you have to respect that. For example, Mystic Mind costs 100. Well, you can only play 1 copy of Mystic Mind in the deck, and after that, every single other cards in your deck have to cost 0 points. That can be really huge. That make you think otherwise. That's make like change your mindset about deck building. It's really fun. Also, for the cost points, it's combining your extra deck, your main deck, and your side deck, of course. So you have to make sure that all your decks, you know, combined cost equal or less to 100. Of course, some OTS, because that's a format that can be played in OTS. Of course, some events can be played with 0 point cap, so that's no point of doing that. Or even maybe some events, some OTS will change the point cap for like 200 or 50, depends of all the OTS. But per default, it's 100. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it about the format. You don't have to learn anything else. It's mainly just a new way of, building your decks and having some limitation. Outside of that, it's the same game. It's the same summoning mechanism. It's the same rule set, modern rule set. It's the same tournament rule set. Everything is the same. It's just that no more link monsters, no more potential monsters, and there's no ban lists, and the catch of having a point system instead. That makes you have to work war harder for your deck building, but also changing the pace of the gameplay of Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, for me personally, I will play this game, this format a lot in real life with my pals. So here's, for example, my first deck I built ever, which is called Yugioh Virtual World Genesys. So basically, like I said, Yugioh is my favorite, but I needed a second archetype to fit well, and I find that using Virtual World with Emergency Teleport is really, really good for me. But here's the catch. Emergency Teleport costs 40 points each. So that means I can only play 2 copies. I mean, technically, yeah, I can only play 2 copies and I have 20 points left. And after that, I have Xian Virtual World Beast QB Shan that cost 20 points. So now I already use, with only 3 cards, I already use 100 points. So what do I do after that? Well, I adapt. So for example, on my side deck, I'm only using cards that have no cost. So pretty much all of them are pretty much entrap or some spell trap removal to stop stun and floodgate decks. But outside of that, it's only entrap that costs 0 points. For example, Schoolmeister, when a card effect is activated and you're opening graveyard, as a quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to negate that effect. That's really, really good, actually. Really, really good. I'm still using some Kaiju and stuff, some Artifact Lancia to stop them banish because I need to play with my graveyard. But even in the main deck, I have some cards, for example, Drowning Mirror Force. Because yes, since in this format, the pacing of the game is way slower, so that means there's way less entrap, there's way less, omni negates and stuff like that, and target removal. Cards like traps can actually be back, so if you're a trap enjoyer, this format is also for you. That's really insane. And as for the extra deck, of course, I'm using only Xian that cost points, but every other cards in my extra deck cost 0 points. So that's a good example. I will put all the deck list in the description for you to take a look, but that's the one I will mostly play mainly. It's not perfect, of course. I didn't have the chance to play in real life with it really, but of course I will play this deck a lot, and I will try to improve with it. And of course, the second one, I made it for my pal, which is a huge fan of Runic and Exodia and Mystic Mine. So I make this deck that works with Mystic Mine. Like I said, Mystic Mine costs 100 points. That means that every other cards in the deck have to cost 0, and that's the case. We're playing 3 copies of End Destruction, we play 3 copies of Upstart Goblin, which cost 0, and Terraforming actually costs points, so that's why I have to use Demise of the Land and Metaverse. And we're using some Genesys. Like I said, traps are now good in this format since the format is way slower, and since board spell trap removal, for example RP Feather Dusters and Eevee Storms and Giant Grenade cost points. That means not everybody is going to play them, so traps are really good in this format also. That's why we're using this kind of deck. And like I said, Twin Twister is actually, I think Twin Twister will actually become a real good staple in this format for sure, as a side deck for sure. And yeah, we're a Dog Bribe. We have, of course, Seal of the Forbidden Spell, because yeah, Solemn Judgment also costs points. And yeah, that's pretty much all the example of a deck you can build using this point system format. And yeah, I'm so excited. I even want to build more of them. And I think I will even do deck profiles for Genesys. Don't hesitate to tell me in the comments if you want more video about this format, or if you even want maybe deck profile for Genesys format, because this format, I'm actually really high for it. Of course, I'm not stopping playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Domain. I really love playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Domain, since it's a multiplayer free-for-all format and it's completely different. But for 1v1, I think Genesys will become my main 1v1 format for sure. So yeah guys, that was Fun Night. I hope you really liked this video. Don't hesitate to subscribe and to comment under, and to like also the videos, and to share the videos on the channel to your comrades if you want to support me. And thank you again for being here. I hope you're as hyped as I am for this format, and I hope you can all enjoy this format together. See you next time. It was Fun Night. Take care. Peace. Ciao, ciao.